It's mad, bro.
Okay, this is past the Meerkat patron. Intimacy.
It sounds intimate.
It
as
sounds
well.
bare
sounds-
quiet.
yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds
It's,
like
it's
actually.
different,
I'm here with Vish, Sheikh, and Pedro. We thought we would stay a bit later after everybody else has gone, and have a bit more of a conversation. So yeah, I've got a question for you guys.
Go on.
I was convinced to do the traitors application recently. So yeah, the BBC show Traitors, yeah, and it had this this question on the application, which is, what has been the most significant thing that has happened in your life, and how has it shaped you?
That's a mad question to ask, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a very mad question.
Did you apply for it first?
Yeah, I applied for it. Yeah, I put my application.
What did you say?
I said the most significant thing that happened to me was my breakup, and how it shaped me. It basically taught me that I'm not invincible at all, and that although like there's bare potential and I could be bare successful, or like I am bare successful, like the thing that puts me at risk the most is myself. It's your behavior, is your drives, and your ego. So yeah, that's how I answered it, but I kind of expanded the answer. It's like a huge text box in it, so you could actually go in depth about like what it was, what the incident was, and then how it shaped you.
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's mad because a lot of the time it's gonna be. I'm trying to think. I have something like breaking up with my ex or whatever. But I'm trying to think of something that isn't.
and
Relationship.
Yeah,
Of
I've
That's
got
what
an
I was thinking.
I've got an answer. I know mine.
When I got to answer that question, I was thinking, what would my boy say? Or from what I know of you guys anyway. And yeah, for me, it all surrounds breakup. Obviously, my breakup, there was a bit more than just a breakup. At the time in it. So
It's like a thing that a breakup does affect people in it. So yeah. But for me, I know my answer is it was going to uni up north. So for me, I think that was a significant like change or milestone in my life, because up until that point, obviously, I was very like London centric.
Yeah.
And I know that's that period of time when I went away and saw like a completely different like way of life, just different people. And I remember that was a period of time where I was a lot more like open-minded. I changed in a lot of ways, to the point where even when I came back to link these guys, and because these lot were all in Essex, and they were like, "Yo, you're changing in it," and I was just like, you know what, like like I'm actually changing in it.
Yeah.
So I think that was significant, and I think like that kind of stuck by even like when I got into like work and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, that for me that was a thing. That was a changing point.
Yeah. I think for me it was, so we had, my auntie used to live with us, and there was a point where her health just deteriorated. Like she got rheumatoid arthritis, which is basically like a really bad arthritis. Basically.
Is this when you were a kid or older?
This was, so she was living with us since when I was young, but when I came back from uni, that's when I saw it deteriorate badly. And then that's when my family decided we're not going to put her in a home, we're going to look after her. So then my routine started becoming like looking after like someone else other than myself. And that, I think for me, was like when I realized life is very precious. So that's when I was like, I need to make more time for my family. And then at the same time, my sister had kids. So just doing that thing, like spending the time I had with my auntie who lived with me, basically kind of raised me, is like a big turning point in my life. And then when she passed, like it was also for her, like also for me, good closure, but also for her, she didn't have like a very bad way of life sort of thing in it. She went according to how she wanted, surrounded by the people that loved her.
Yeah. I would say mine was probably my gap year for quite a few reasons. Obviously, when I applied for college, When I applied for uni, I wanted to go. Where did I want to go? I wanted to go Loughborough, and then I think my insurance was DMU. Didn't get into Loughborough, but got into DMU. And for context, three of my older siblings all went to DMU. I don't know why I applied for it, because after I got in there, I was like, bro, I don't want to go to the uni that like all my older siblings went to. Like I don't want to go to a uni and be someone's brother, because like that happened to me in secondary school. Like it's kind of dead. So obviously I told my mum, I'm gonna take a gap year, and all my mum knows is like education straight after.
When you said that, they were they worried? When
bro, my mum was like, well, like, bro, my mum, I'll tell you, a lot of things happened. My mum was like, what you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna work. She just started laughing. She was like, what you gonna do? She's like, work and do what? She was like, if you don't, she's like, are you saying that you're better than your siblings because you don't want to go to the same uni? Like, she sat me down, I was chatting to her for time, like, you're saying you're better than, but you don't want to go to that uni. I was like, no, I just want to do something different. And then she's like, okay, cool. If you're gonna do that, you're not gonna stay in my house. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna live with my uncle, Steve's dad. I was like, I'm gonna stay there. Wow. And then I remember she made me go and see the pastor in my church. And I remember when I was on my way there, my uncle called me and he just goes, Peter, you're going to uni. Okay, bye. That was it.
You said that. So it didn't even, there's no conversation. There's no back and forth.
Like, hello, Peter. You're going to uni. Okay, bye. Drop the phone. And then I speak to the pastor. Like, he asked me bare questions, and I tell him what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to save up money. I want to retake some of my exams. I want to go to a better uni. I don't want to go to DMU. And then, bear in mind, like I got into DMU to study law and psychology. I ended up studying accounting and maths. So in that year, I didn't know what I wanted to do after college. I remember in that year was when I figured out that I didn't want to do that. And I wanted to do accounting and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it literally changed the shape of my life because also, and then even when I retook my exams, I applied for Sussex. One of my friends was going to Sussex and then my insurance was Essex. Didn't get into Sussex, got into Essex to do, accounting and maths, which was great for the purposes of like my career, even though I'm not doing accountancy anymore, but like it's helped a lot.
It's useful,
And going to Sussex, I would have been with one of my white boys who my life would have been very different.
So did you in your gap year you did resits as well?
I did resits and I worked.
Okay. So did that contribute to your decision to make a gap year, the fact that you would have the opportunity to resit?
Yeah, I didn't want to go to DMU. I wanted to go to a better uni.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna resit some of my exams and save. Like I saved it. I went to uni. I had money when I got to uni.
Which is a big thing to be honest.
Isn't it mad? Like, because I think knowing that like a lot of people are at uni, and then obviously you're not at uni and you're like making decisions to like work and. Did that play into your mind though? Because I'd be thinking, like, if I was at home and I'm seeing bare people enjoying Freshers Week and then they're having that uni experience.
Remember, socials wasn't like that. It was there. It was Facebook, but it wasn't like stories.
We have less FOMO.
So it was that, and like obviously, Bangs was.
These men were in Essex. Yeah, I used to hate it. Like, I remember because like obviously it was just me. I was in Sheffield alone, and all of these men were in Essex. And I remember the first year I went down to their Freshers Week, like. Before, I think their Freshers Week was before mine, so I went to their Freshers Week and I had a blast on that train.
You're looking on camera, you're like, there's blacks.
You didn't come to our Freshers Week though.
Yeah, I did. No, I remember I went to mine first.
Not our first year one. You started before us. Essex started.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I think I know that because I went to mine first and then I went to yours afterwards.
Yeah, but that would have been in second year. He didn't come. You didn't come
in first year.
Yeah, you didn't come. Yeah.
Is it?
I think the first time you came was like
start of second year.
No, because I remember I was at your flat. Remember in your dorm, like the first year. Like,
So that's what I'm saying. It's not a Freshers Week, but it's the end of the last week of uni.
Yeah.
Where it's like there were bare parties as well. Like I remember that. You definitely stayed in that like small room, the ensuite.
Yeah.
You definitely stayed.
But I did it twice though because. I went there twice, so like it would have been. I remember I went to the Squares party at the end of the year, but then I went to one at the start of the year as well.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, you came to one in North Towers. Yeah.
Oh, you came to one?
Yeah.
I remember you coming once and having the Africa chain.
Yeah.
I was like,
I remember that because you met my ex before she was my girl.
Yeah,
and I was introducing you to her, and you was like, she's very nice. Yeah, I love her. Yeah, but this was before she was my girl. This was before we were just friends at the time. We were just people that studied psychology. So yeah, you did. But then when you really came was at the end of the year, and then I think you came to the next Freshers Week. But you didn't. You definitely wasn't at our first ever Freshers.
Yeah, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh man,
that stuff was going.
I didn't get FOMO. Obviously, Bangs was on a gap year too. one of my other boy that I was gonna go Sussex with, he was on the gap year, so we were just going. Yeah, in that year, that's when I started going gym as well. I became bit on gym. My friend Abraham, he was at uni, I think, but his uni.
What's going on, people? E-Man from Pastor Meerkat. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers!